first thing is I had a chance to be heading the literacy campaign in Rajasthan in the early 90s, in the last century, 90 to 96, 97, for 6, 7 years, I had headed the literacy campaign. That is why my special interest in talking to the youth. The literacy campaign was run in Rajasthan by about a million youth volunteers from all over the places in Rajasthan, and who were able to make around 10 million illiterates literate in Rajasthan. So therefore, that is the first thing I want to say, that it is very good initiative to involve youth into any such activity which has to do with community and uh, maybe communicating with the community and taking them along. That's number one. Point number two is, when they talk to the community, I think my just a piece of advice to them is that let's not put ourselves on a higher pedestal. When we had the volunteers who were trying to talk to them, they thought that if they are the illiterate, we are the educated ones and we are in the higher pedestal, they are the lower pedestal. No. When you work with the community, the one thing to remember is that it is a two-way traffic. I used to tell them, and I want to tell again this youth who are gathered here, that whenever you talk to anybody about the climate change in the community, certainly give away what you have. I mean, whatever you learned through this session, or you know all technical details, etc. But also, please remember that they have lived through ages, and that wisdom of the past, their wisdom in the culture and heritage of our country, can also teach you a lesson, which this principle we should never forget. Because I'll just give one or two examples. In Rajasthan, there is a place called Khejdi, the tree, which was protected by Bishnoi community. The women just gathered around the trees and they did not allow the king to cut the trees. This is how the heritage is there. And even the oran, that is the area around any religious places in the forest area, forest is never cut by the villagers. So these are certain traditions of our old times, which the youth also need to remember. And also, that is therefore I am saying it is a two-way traffic. Give them something which is scientifically not known to them. Also take from them and go to the roots and find out what was good in our history and heritage, which will help us in protecting our climate, and therefore we can do something to that. So next point I want to say is that in the individual habits, people have said, I don't want to repeat them, that you have to be role model for others to see when you want to convince others to do something about protecting our climate. If you do not switch off the AC when you walk away, if you don't share the car when you're going to some other places, and everybody is going in the same car, in the secretariat when people used to go to the same office, 100 people are going in 100 cars, how much carbon emissions are we giving into the environment? Are we doing something about it? So therefore, I would appeal to the youth to create a pressure on the politicians to have better public transport system. The better the public transport system, less is the pressure on having individual cars, and then you certainly reduce maybe the contribution to the carbon emission in the market. Therefore, that is something which we all need to do, and therefore it is important. Somebody said very rightly, as Jay Kumar or Santoshi was saying, Niti and Niyat will bring about the change. So Niti is all right. I think my experience of my civil
Wow,
service about 40 years plus tells me that best of the policies become useless if the Niyat is not proper. And therefore the Niyat has to be proper. And I think the youth of today, I have full trust in them. Their Niyat is absolutely fine. Let that Niyat spread in all parts of the communities and the nation. And also, there should, when we talk on the national level, I think let some election be fought. I wish that the next election or some other election be fought on the issue of climate change. What do the people do to bring about a change in the climate? Are we damaging the climate? Are we protecting the climate? Are we preserving it for the next generation? There is no talk of climate. I don't think any politician ever in any election speech has mentioned that yes, we will do this thing for our climate protection, and then therefore we will do this. So therefore, next time the youth of today can put a pressure, can create a lobby, can create a pressure group in the society everywhere, at the local panchayat level, at the district level, at the state level, and at the national level, so that the politicians main role is to win election and get into the power. So if they can get into the power by talking about climate change, by thinking about climate change, by taking action about climate protection, this thing that would help a lot. Last 2 points I want to make is, one is, many people think हम अकेले करके होगा क्या, दुनिया से सब बिगाड़ रही, हम क्या कर लेंगे. एक सलाह है उनको मैं इसके अंदर, कि एक पुरानी कहानी हम सबको याद रखनी चाहिए. We must all remember that old saying that when there was a wildfire in a jungle, the small sparrow on a tree was trying to go to the nearby water body, bringing it a drop and putting onto the fire. Somebody asked that little sparrow, "What are you doing? How will it help?" She said, and I remember those words, and everybody must remember those words. When the history of this place would be written, my name would come in the list of those people who try to quench the fire and not put the fire or alight the fire. So if this be the role of our youth, that whenever the youth takes whatever actions you take, please think once what you are doing, whatever step you are taking, whatever decisions you are taking, is it going to damage my climate, or is it going to certainly reduce the damage to the climate? So this introspection, each one of us needs to maybe once in 3 months, once in 2 months, once in a year, always at the time when you go to bed, please ask yourself, did I do something in the last 3 months or 2 months or 1 month which will damage my climate or which will preserve my climate? If the answer to this question is yes and you sleep well, I have no problem. If the answer to this question is no, and if you are not able to sleep well, then also I don't have a problem, because then you will do something next day to do something about it. But if the answer to the problem is no, and still you are able to sleep well, then I have a problem. The country has a problem with you, and the humanity has a problem with you. And therefore, my friends, young friends particularly, that keep on asking this question to ourselves and never think that what can we do alone. One person can change the world, and one idea can totally change this thing. And therefore, this uh, last thing is that, as I said, I think I would be within my time limit and must have said a minute or two also in this. I don't. I could have gone on and on, but I think, considering the fatigue and everything that is just visible on the face of everybody, and I heard very important, eminent, extremely good discourses by everybody. Now the time for action is the youth. Shubh said very well. Everybody. I think innovation is the key word today, buzzword today. Whatever you study, whether you study science, mathematics, I studied physics and mathematics, I have done my
Mhm.
master's in physics and mathematics, any subject you study, any area you are in from, but please apply that knowledge to conservation of climate. If you can do that, and there's always a relationship between whether you study geography, whether you study history, even if you study history, then you learn from the past. If you are a student of chemistry, if you are a student of physics, whatever you do, if you can
एक
just
बार ये
keep
चला
on
गया
thinking
मेरे देश
always,
में।
keep on thinking always, then how can your knowledge be applied to
हाँ
reduce the
तेरा
damages that is being done to the climate? Because it may not be visible today or tomorrow or the day after. But yes, the generation which will come after us will ask ourselves the question, what did you do, Shubh, when you were there on the planet? What did you leave for us? Or what they will ask me, what did I do as Rajendra Bhanawat, who was in civil service for 40 years, and what did I do to conserve my climate or to damage it further? So therefore, we all need to ask ourselves this question. Thank you, Tikku Saab. Thank you, Kalyanji. Kalyan Kothari Saab, special thanks to him because he's in the US. He must have remained awake from maybe 1 or 2 in the night till 5 or 6. Now I think that I don't know what is the time there, but then his energy level and his enthusiasm is really worth emulating, I would say. Uh, so all the best to you. And then if anybody has a question, I can 1 or 2 minutes, but I don't think any questions anybody would have the energy to ask those questions. So, but Rajiv ji, thanks a lot. Naina, you are very superb in coordinating all sessions. Let me make a special mention of you because the sessions that Santosh ji and others were doing, I think everybody did a wonderful job, Manisha. And I sent a message to Manisha, how long will it take? And while she was on this platform, even then she was replying to me continuously. So that shows the commitment of all of your team members to the successful organization of this event. And we'll meet physically, but lastly, online organization has also helped us in conserving climate. Because if you had done it physically, everybody would have traveled in some other mode somewhere and used petrol cars or diesel cars. So even if it is a CNG car, we do create problem for the climate. So online thing, physically, of course, once in a while it's good to see each other, but online things are also a great way to reduce the adverse impact on the climate that we have inherited from others. So that's it. And then and also in somebody might want to look at our past. I think धरती माता कहते हैं हम तो अपने यहाँ पे, इट्स ऑलवेज नॉन एज मदर अर्थ, धरती माता है इंडियन कल्चर में, धरती माता है। और माता के साथ हम जैसा व्यवहार करेंगे वो हमें वैसा सोच लेना चाहिए। व्हाट डू वी डू टू आवर मदर, वी शुड डू टू आवर अर्थ, एंड दैट इज व्हाट वी आर ऑल टॉकिंग अबाउट टुडे। थैंक यू वेरी मच।